G'day and welcome back to my channel. Now, have you ever had one of those kits that you started it with great enthusiasm, but then, you kept putting it to the back of the work in progress sort of pile, and, it ended up on the shelf of doom and years went by, or it was just a terrible kit and you thought, but maybe it was given to you by a friend, maybe it was a commission build, maybe you felt compelled to finish it, but you just don't want to. What do you do? What do you do? Well, that'll be the subject of this gooch. It'll be called the, Unfinished Gooch. And that's the thing. What do we do when we can't finish a kit? We just don't want to. Let's find out. Roll the music. So it is quite a conundrum. Yeah, you've got this kit. You feel compelled to finish it for one reason or another, and you just don't want to. You just don't like it anymore. What do you do? I've been there a number of times, and I'll go through and tell you what happened to me, why I got to that point, and then what I did to get over the hump, okay? And maybe in the comments you guys can tell me your experiences, the kits that you started, what'd you do? Just chuck it in the bin, or, ring up your friend and say, this kit you gave me is crap, come pick it up. Do you just sell it? That's always an option. I'll go through some of mine in a sec, but look, big shout out to my patrons because they inspire me to create videos like this where I kind of just chat to you about certain subjects. And my patrons talk to me all the time and ask me questions, so that's the reason I end up doing these sort of gooch videos, is in response to them. Now look, if you'd like to become a patron, you'll get to see my commercials. Well, you won't get to see commercials. That's the whole thing. You'll get your videos, get your teeth right, Harry. You get these videos advert free for 24 hours. Okay, that's long enough. And you get to see them that one day earlier than everyone else. So if that's a good thing, hit some button up here now and get along to Patreon, and from as little as $1 a month, you too could be enjoying my videos a bit early and without the hassle of adverts. Plus, it just helps me out. Okay? All right. Case study number one. Well, I'll go back to probably my oldest one, the Arizona. All right? Now, this is one that will upset some people, and it certainly upset me. I started out with great gusto. I got this kit for like 4 shekels. It was nothing. Bugger all money, it was 30 bucks American, 4 shekels. Oh, this is great. It's a whole battleship. It's really good. Oh, it doesn't look too bad in the box. I can open the box in the store. I went, wow, that's okay. It's all there. I can do a lot with this. And I looked online. I got a wood deck for it. I got some barrels for it, right? And then I went, well, some of these things could be enhanced with photo etch. What can you get? Full photo etch kit available. Got that. It wasn't much. I ended up probably spending about 12 or so shekels more. So the whole thing cost me about 16 shekels all up. But I was having fun. I was enthusiastic. I did some videos on it going, here's the kit. It's much maligned. It's been around the traps, It's been ridden like the bloody town bike, rooted up both ends and banged in the middle. Okay. But it was a good basis for a finished model. You just had to put a bit of love into it. Now, I tried to do that. I started out, I said, doing things and getting started with it. And I even did the photo etch changes to the whole midships area and showed you how to sort of cut all those bits out. And then I got into basically how the wood deck would go on, and I built the turrets up, and I showed how all the photo etch upgrades made the turrets look really nice. But I'd picked a subject that was very much at the heart of a lot of Americans. And I'm not American. I'm just an Australian bastard, right? So to me, it's just a battleship. I'm just building a battleship. It's a model. I'm having fun. I'm following what instructions I've got, and I'm upgrading with the material that I have, and I just want to build a battleship. But no, so many people were invested so much in this particular ship that every nuance that I got wrong, they wanted to tell me about. And then with my videos, if you see my videos, a bit irreverent. Every now and then I'd say, fuck. Oops. It's me. I'm me on this channel. This is what I do, okay? I'm not trying to be an expert. I just show you what I know. And often I don't know stuff and I explore it, and then I say, well, this is what I found out, okay? Now, with the Arizona, I was doing a lot of things that were sort of known to me. I'd worked with PE, but not to that extent. I'd certainly done metal barrels and wood decks and all that sort of thing before. I've done a little bit of scratch work then. I'm much bigger on it now. Now I'll scratch anything. But back then I was sort of, doing a little bit. I built things out of wood all my life. So you'd think plastic wouldn't be any different, but it sort of isn't. But the thing that got me is the patriotism, right? Now, I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. That's fine if you're enthusiastic about something. It's fine if you want, it's the rivet counter thing. You can count your rivets. You can count your rivets as much as you like. You can get your thing right as much as you like. Nothing wrong with that. But when you start counting someone else's rivets without their permission, that's what we call a rivet counter. That's the arsehole in this community. You don't have permission. If you ask first to say, look, I think some of those things aren't accurate. Would you like me to help you? Give the person the option. They might say, yeah, great, okay, I'd love the information. They might go, no, look, I'm just having fun. Leave it alone. And then walk away, okay? You might know better. But you're not being smart if you ram your opinions, your ideas, and your knowledge down someone else's throat. Well, that's what I'm doing now, isn't it? Yes, but I've got the bloody conch. This is my channel, so I can say what I want. But anyhow, people got overzealous. They got me down. Every day, people were telling me what I got wrong. I even got death threats and threats of being beaten up by people because I had done some horrendous thing to their sacred, blessed, don't touch it, holy friggin' battleship. It was just a model. So the videos came out slower, like they're a year between videos. Because every time I went to do it, I just get sick in my guts and go, well, all I'm going to do is get another barrage of arseholes telling me what I've done wrong. All I want to do is build a model, One stage, I was going to do a bit of reverse sort of logic and go, I'm going to do a what if. What if Japan won the war? And I was going to put Japanese flags on all the rest. But a friend of mine held me down and said, Harry, you will get killed if you do something like that. So in the end, it sat there until one day someone was asking, had any ships for sale? And I'm going, this, that. And I said, well, I kind of got this Arizona that I half built and I've lost love for. And they said, oh, we'd love it. Let's have a look. And they went, this is fantastic. You've done a good job to this point. I would like to take that off your hands. And they offered me pretty good money for it, actually. In the end, I sort of came out not losing much at all with my deal, except for all those years of time and all that grief and all the rest of it. I mean, after that, it kind of put me off doing American subjects. If you ever watch my channel, I don't do American subjects anymore. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but if it is sort of, might be, like a starfighter's American, but I won't. I'll probably do a Japanese version or I'll do the German version, okay? Because I just don't want to go down that road of having all these people that get so excited and head up. I mean, I don't know. You can't all be like that in America, can you? No, you're not. Okay, there's just people. It was the same when I was doing some submarines. Oh, the way they went on about their bloody submarines. It's hard. And then there's others that get so pissed off I do German subjects. I wouldn't do a German subjects, they were on the other side of the wall. They're all Nazis. No, they're not. Well, no, not all Germans were Nazis. In fact, only people in the Nazi party were Nazis. Germans were Germans. They were people just like you and me. They were fighting a war because they were told to, just like you and me. We had to fight a war, all right? And anyhow, I build machines, all right? I build machines because they're pretty, they're interesting, they're fascinating, they've got some history, sure. But for me, it is how it's going to look, right? Like, the reason I've been doing the sailing ships more these days is they're very colourful, they're very interesting, and I'm emulating wood effects. And it's more what I did when I was a kid. I built all the sailing ships, okay? And I hardly ever get rivet counted about sailing ships. So this is the thing. That kit was a kit with problems, but I had the solutions for it. And I could have finished it, but I got worn down by arseholes. And I couldn't cope. I'd be better these days. These days I don't give a shit what anyone thinks, okay? But back then I kind of took it a bit personally, and in the end, the kit got sold on to someone who really wanted it, and they'll probably just build it happily in their basement, whatever, never tell anybody about it, just show it to their friends, and everyone will be happy. That's the thing. Once you're a public figure, you're up for ridicule. Yes, you bastards all give me a hard time. All right, but then again, the majority of you treat me really well, so let's just get that straight. Those of you watching for the first time probably think, bloody hell, Harry, look at the size of your stash. That's a mirror. That's a sliding mirror over there. Yeah, right. There you go. If you were suffering from stash envy, it was just a mirror. It was there so that it looked good in the frame, okay? But that's just the stash over there, which is a fair size. It's actually less than it used to be back when I used to shoot the videos back on the farm. If you watch my old videos on the farm, I've actually have less kits because I've sold off so many. I've consolidated. I've got rid of some things that, I've lost interest, and there's more ships. So, that's how it is. Anyhow, All right, well, if you manage to make it through that first one, here's problem number 2. Italians. No. I love Italians. I've had Italian girlfriends. They've been great. They've been a lot of fun. They've been a lot of fun. You know, they just, yeah. Ooh. But I said I have a problem with Italian. Italeri kits, yeah. Ooh. But Italian subject, I don't know. What is it about it? Case in point is actually a Smer kit. I don't know where Smer comes from. Does anybody know where Smer gets made? I don't know. I think Beelzebub makes Smer kits, quite frankly, because every Smer kit that I've had my hand across has just been a blobby piece of shit. I don't know. It's sort of, they might as well just give you a block of plastic, a picture of what it should look like, and a knife, and say, go for it, because that's basically how they've been for me. The parts are so badly moulded that, you know, the propellers, right? The propellers for my Smer Macchi, right? I had to carve them out of the plastic because they were just blobs, so horrible. I actually sat there and found photos and carved them to shape. And that's how I got my Macchi props look that way. I had to carve the struts. I had to do so much to it. I mean, I had so many problems. Nothing fitted, and the floats didn't fit. And then I had some personal problems because I put weights into the float. Someone said, it'll sit better and it'll be a lot happier if you put some weights into the float. So I had all these little shakers that I'd bought that I actually found weren't stainless steel, despite the fact that they were supposed to be stainless steel. And I'd put them in everything, and they all started rusting. So I had to pull them out of a bloody, I had 100 of these bloody things, and they'd ruined half my paint. Anyhow, I pulled them out and thought, well, I'll keep those for whatever, you know, weighting aeroplanes. So in this case, rather than weighting the nose of the Macchi, because it's a float plane, I weighted the floats, okay? So I already had them glued up. So it was a matter of I just kind of popped them in the hole. They just fit. Roll them down, and then I thought, well, to keep them in there, I'll just whack some CA glue in. Seemed like a good idea at the time. But CA glue, it needs a lot of ventilation. And when all you've got is the tiny little hole that the strut's going to get attached to, the heat that CA glue generates, especially as I kind of poured it in, when I got up the next day to sort of check things, my floats looked like this, right? They were drunk. The CA glue had deformed and bent them all out of shape. And I tried to straighten them, I tried to fix it. I got so bloody mad, I threw them against the wall, right? And that was that. And I thought, well, I'll stuff this kit. But as luck would have it, I'd actually bought 2 of them because a friend of mine said, oh, I wouldn't mind one of those. And I was buying it. It was only like a shekel. It was very cheap. Yes, it was. I should have known then. That should have been the warning bell. And they said, look, take mine. I've seen all the problems you've had. I don't know if I want to build it. So I got their kit and I built the floats up again, and this time I put in white glue, right? PVA white glue, water-based, and of course that doesn't heat up. That did require quite a few days. It almost took a week for it to fully set, but that set held all my little ball bearings in place, gave the thing a really good weight. In fact, it's very heavy. A lot of people, when they got to pick the kit up later on, went, holy dooly, what's this thing? Is this a metal kit? Because it weighs a bloody ton. But it's the only way to get the nose to come down, because the wings are quite sort of big and heavy, and that's everything, centre of gravity is towards the back. So in that case, I would have given up. I would have gone, well, the floats are ruined and they're too hard to scratch and I don't care. I'm not going to buy another kit. But luckily, my friend had a donor kit. So that was a solution there. And I still sort of was hard work finishing it, but I just kind of wanted to get it done and out the way. And then when it was all done and I'd rigged it and I was kind of enjoying those little things that I did and I washed it and everything, and I knew there was a lot of faults with it, there were a lot of problems. I ended up scratching an interior for it, so I did a few things like that to cheer myself up to try and make the kit better. Anyhow, when it finished, my friend Byrne said, well, why don't you put it into competition? I went, oh, yeah, it's not that good, there's a lot of problems, but oh well. And I put it into competition and it won first place that month with all the other things that were there. I mean, if you see my other video, how to win at competitions, the little red aeroplane always wins. Well, this was a case. The little red aeroplane, despite all its problems, despite everything was wrong with it, people just went, oh, wow, it's red. And they loved it, and I got a first place just for that month. I didn't win an award or anything, it was just monthly competition at our club. So that kind of cheered me up. I went, that's okay. So that was a solution there that got so far. It was my fault that I'd wrecked it. I'd invested a lot of time into it. I was getting encouragement. This is very different to the Arizona story, right? Here I'm getting encouragement from the modelling community, from my friends. And that helped me think, well, okay, all right, well, if you guys think that, it's worth it and you see that there's possibility in this, maybe I'm too close to it, I'm getting annoyed, I'll keep plodding on and see what's the result. And the result was a winning kit. They even asked me to take it to the big model show at the end of the year. I put it on the table there and it generated a lot of interest. So there you go. Maybe it was from people that actually bought that kit, built it, realised how crap it was, and they looked at mine and thought, this can't be the same kit. Well, it wasn't. There was a lot of me in that kit. So there you go. One solution is the kit's bad. Well, maybe if you're enthusiastic enough about it, maybe if you've got support, you can just correct it and get a result. Case scenario number 3, the commission. All right. So you haven't chosen the kit. Somebody else wants you to build it for them. It's a favour. They might be paying you money, or they might have, it might be a manufacturer's giving you the kit because you're on YouTube and you feel compelled that you have to build it. I got given that Fiat. Yes. Italeri Fiat 500. Yes. Yes. And 3 years went by. 3 years. I said, I'll take a couple of months. A couple of months it'll be done. It's not that hard. It's just a little Fiat. How hard can it be? It was a fairly big scale one, right? But I don't know. It looked beautiful on the sprue. Lots of parts, lots of engineering, looked fantastic. But once you put it together, everything was so fragile, it kept falling apart. The suspensions kept snapping and breaking every time I tried to do something. The sheer weight of the paint on the body shell, when I put it on the chassis, collapsed everything, and a whole lot of stuff broke. The steerings, they hadn't thought it through. I don't know. Was I using heavy paint? I'm painting too heavy. My fault. The kit just frustrated me. It seemed to have so much potential, but and I've heard this from other people that have tried to build them, going, yeah, they drive you insane, And it wasn't that it was just so many parts and you'd be done. Hundreds and hundreds of bloody parts for this thing, and the guy had spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on this thing, and he'd given it to me and invested, in me to build it, and he paid me for paint and glue, that's all. But in the end, it got to a point. Well, when I got my occipital, that's why I wear the scarf, I realised I had an out, because basically at that point I didn't think I'd be doing any more modelling videos. I didn't know how much the hobby I'd be doing, because I was really sick, and that was the truth of it. I really didn't know what was around the corner. So when he contacted me, was basically the day after I was diagnosed, I just dropped on him and said, no, look mate, I might as well send the kit back to you, because I'm not going to be able to finish it because I'm crook. Okay, and it was the truth. It still is the truth. I still have days where I can't model. I'm in a lot of pain. Okay, so my modelling's a lot different. That's why probably I've been doing the ships, because I really can only do something where I'm not too stressed and, I don't bend over too much. So I was bending over and taking it up behind with bloody Fiat, I tell you. Yes. Anyhow, in the end with the Fiat, I got out of that by basically just saying I'm not going to be able to finish it for whatever reason, okay? And he was kind enough to say, look, well, send it back. Well, I'll do something. Yeah, it's dragged on for too many years. Obviously, you've just lost interest in it. And he could see that. He could see I just lost the love for the kit. And I told him all the problems I was having. I mean, he was saying things like, oh, just glue the windows in, just glue the wheels on solid, and glue this on, glue the doors on, because the doors kept popping open. And I was going, well, I've done the whole interior. I've done all this work. If we glue all that up, you're never going to be able to open the doors and see inside for all these bloody months and months of work that I did. So it's because I had sort of spent so much time on it, I couldn't just slap it all together and say, yeah, it's finished. I didn't want to do a bad job. So that was sort of the problem. I couldn't just do a slap happy, finish it, hand it to him, go, there's your car and run. I felt I needed to do a really good job, and I couldn't. So I was in an impasse. So the kit went back to him. That solved that. Now, just recently I've done a review of a kit. Now, I didn't pick the kit. The hobby store picked the kit, okay? They didn't tell me what it was. I had a look and went, yeah, okay, I'll build something. I was sort of more thrilled that somebody would actually send me a free kit and get me to build it, And then, of course, I had a look at it. When I first had a look at it, I went, oh, what have I got myself in for? This is, there's no mast, there's no sails, there's no rigging. This is all the stuff that I enjoy. All there are all these bloody heaps and heaps of fiddly little bloody frames that you've got to glue together, and 16 pages of rooting around before you even build the boat. And I thought, well, this isn't me. This isn't the sort of stuff I build. And I really had to sit down for a day and think, what am I going to do? Do I send the kit back to them? what do I do? And I talked to a few of my friends, and they just said, look, just treat it like any kit you have. Talk about it the way that you would talk about it and see how you go. So when I did the video, I was just honest with basically how I felt about things and how it was, and said it wouldn't be my choice, but, you know, it's interesting. It would come up nicely. And in fact, my intention is I'll build the hull as all open, like they want, and so you can see that's done. But then once that's sort of finished, I say, well, there's the kit as out of the box. Then I'll rip things off and change things, and I'll add masts and sails to it and rig it, because that's what I want. So in this case, I'll feel compelled, because I've given the kit as a review and I need to do it, and I'll fulfill that obligation, right? They didn't pay me any money, they're just giving me a kit. But they also said they would send me the one with the sails and the masts and everything, because I think they realised after the video, they went, this is what he really wants, you know. So I'll probably review that as well, and it's a revision. So in the end, it kind of all worked out. In some ways, with all of these cases, you got to be honest with yourself. This is what it comes to. With the Arizona, I had to get to the point where I had lost love with the kit. So when someone came along and said they'd buy it, I realised, yep, it's not failure. I had got that far. I have no love for this. It's just not going to get done. And I'm just going to churn myself up going, you know, ugh. So on the kit went to someone that could build it. There's been a couple of other little kits like that where I've got so far and went, oh, I'm really enjoying this. And someone else said, oh, I'd love that. I'll go, here it is. You can have it. And I've given them the kit. I've just gone, well, if you can build it and you're enthusiastic about it, you have it, because I've kind of lost it. And with the Macchi, well, that was support. And I've had that with a couple of things too, where nearly at my end with the kit, but then mates have sort of said, no, look what you're doing is not too bad. Just take a break and come back and look at it from this angle or do that, and you can finish it. And yeah, there you go. You can finish it and you can win first place, you know. And then with the commission jobs, you just got to be honest with the person, right? So the person that giving you a commission, if things change in your life and if you're not the same person, or if obviously it's not getting done, then you need to be honest with them and say, look, guys, I'm really sorry. I'll send it back to you. I'm not going to get this finished. And with the Fiat, I probably should have done that years ago when I realised I was hating it. A year into it, when it wasn't getting built, I probably should have said, mate, look, tell you the truth, I don't like this kit. It's not doing it for me. I don't want to finish it. I've got all these problems. It's not the sort of thing that I'm interested in. So, yeah. So in all cases, be honest and truthful to yourself. And if the kit is not working, you don't necessarily need to throw it in the bin. Somebody else might take it. One man's rubbish is another man's treasure. And that's the thing. And some people would love a free kit, especially if they might not see the problems that you do. Their whole circumstance might be different. They might not have a YouTube channel where they have to look like they know what they're bloody doing. So yeah, honesty. Be honest yourself. De-stress. Who cares? And fuck are the river counters. All right, well, that's kind of where I am with all this. And that's what I did in those cases. So what do you guys do? You get to a certain point with your kit and you realise, I want out. I want out. Does it end up in the bin? Or have you got other solutions? Have you found other ways of, solving the problem, getting a kit done when you just lost your mojo on it? Let me know. Comment. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, do all these things, interact on my channel. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, look, go to Patreon and sling me at least $1 a month. That'd be lovely. Sling me more. $100 a month, I'll do whatever you want for the next video. Well, sort of, as long as it's not a Fiat 500 or a Smer kit. We will talk about that. Yeah, I'll get the cat to talk to you about that one. All right. Well, look, that's everything that I can say about this subject. So I hope you've enjoyed my perspective on it, and I'm looking forward to seeing yours. All right, goodbye from Australia, and it's hooroo from Harry Houdini.